to the ScamSlam channel. I'm here to bring you content from both shady and some not so shady individuals on TikTok. Ever scrolled through your For You page and come across a sketchy scam or a questionable character? Well, you're not alone, and that's where I come in. On this channel, I'll be diving deep into the world of TikTok to expose scams, scammers, and problematic content to steer clear of. From beggars, scammers, fakers, liars, abusers, and awareness creators that you watch, I'll be here to share it all. I'll be doing it all through showing live streams and adding in comments where appropriate. Be sure to look out for those red flags. So if you want to stay informed on what's really going on in the world of TikTok, then hit that subscribe button and join me on this wild ride. Let's expose the truth together, and reminder, don't send money to anyone on TikTok.
You know, you learn as, you learn, you learn, you evolve, you make mistakes, you learn from them, you don't do them again. You do positive things and you want to do more things like that. You learn, you change. And, you know, when you come on live and it's a public forum and, you know, you want to do the right things, you want to be a good person and all that. And you try and you try and you try. You really do. And when you're constantly being poked, you're constantly being taunted by false allegations, and it happens on somewhat of a daily basis. You have to look at what you're doing. You have to look at how you're behaving and how others are also. And you got to look at what are your options. And my option today was violence. So I'm kidding. All kidding aside, it was a wonderful, wonderful post today that was sent to me. Let me see if I can pop this up for y'all, so you can see where I'm coming from here. Let's go. And I hope everybody is having a wonderful day, by the way. Wonderful morning so far, 11:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, where is that bitch? I'm looking. What is actually better yet? Hold on. I'm gonna take a screenshot of something. Okay. I'm gonna go. Hold on a minute. Okay, there I am. This is what I got this morning when I checked my text messages. Okay, so this is from our lip-filled, Botox, overly injected friend, Monster. Nobody will villainize you more than that person that knows you clocked who they really are and not who they pretend to be. I'm not really sure when she clocked me. But how dare you put Ruby's picture up there? You bitch. You don't be bringing Ruby into this. Don't be bringing the Rubes into it. But listen, she can have her delusional opinion that she clocked me on something. So she has been running with a allegations about me that Mike has brought up, that other people have said about me, and they're all lies. And what I decided to do is I decided to take some time, and I decided to find out some truths about Monster. If she's going to put out false information, I'm going to put out some real information. How does that sound? Monster, put some fucking clothes on, by the way. Nobody gives a shit about you half naked. Seriously. Well, maybe your husband, but... So, our friend Monster here... Yes, pre-Botox days, definitely. Our friend Monster here, she wants to put out false information, false narratives. That's cool. I'm going to put out some real stuff about her. What else we got? Oh, this is my favorite. This is my favorite mugshot of hers. This is when she was homeless and she was a meth addict. And this was right after she led the police on a high-speed chase because she was with a wanted felon and didn't want her friend to go back to prison. So, she ran and she eluded police and was chased. I think that was her 3-year stint in prison. I'm not sure about that, but... Okay, let's get to the good stuff, though. You know what, Monster? Sorry, girl, you brought this on, because I've sat around long enough, and I've listened to the bullshit. I have listened to the bullshit. Oh, Spread Love was in here. Whore, you're next, by the way. Just saying. Yeah, you could tell. I'm kind of fed up with this bullshit. I really am. And, I'm not fed up in a way where I'm angry and I'm pissed off and I'm so sad about it. I'm angry in the way now that this is my reaction. This is my reaction. They want to do this, that's fine. Then, you know what? They're going to have to deal with my reaction to it now. So, buckle up, buttercups. Because I'm not playing games. So, let's talk Monster here. Now, there's one area that I do not know about. And I don't want to put out false information. Because that's unlike that lip injected, can't move my face because I've had so much fucking Botox put in it. Bitch. I don't want to put out false information. So if somebody could clarify something for me. I know that her first husband passed away. Am I correct? Okay. So yes, her first husband passed away. Now, I'm not aware. I mean, I've heard, stuff that I don't think is true. I heard people say that she was responsible for it. I don't think that's true. See, Monster, that's what you do when you're not sure about something. You don't put it out there as truth. Because if it's not the truth, you look like an asshole. Okay, well, that was my next question. Is it true that she was seeing her current husband now when her husband was passing? No, okay. Oh, it wasn't her current husband. Okay. Got it. Okay. So we won't put that out there. But there are people that are saying that she was seeing somebody at that's regardless, okay? We know she's on husband, her at least second husband here. But let's go through some paperwork I have, and let me just show you how much I got here on Miss Amber. Look at all this. Look at all this. Wow. We got a lot to go over today. It's amazing what you can find. It's amazing what you can find when all you do is do a reverse picture search on a wedding dress. You guys are sitting there saying, what the hell are you talking about? I'm going to tell you. It's incredible to me when these people, first of all, when they do naughty shit and then they try to scrub everything, right? They get rid of their Facebook account. Oopsie, already been there. They take, information off things. They try to scrub their past on any of those sites you can pay for, like Intellius, how you can get background information on people. It's amazing when you have other resources a phone call away, the information you can find. It's amazing. But getting to the wedding dress, one of my associates, we'll call them, there was a picture of her in her wedding dress, and it was a black wedding dress that was very unique. And my associate Google searched it, camera, with the lens. And lo and behold, this was a while back, it went to her Facebook page. Imagine that, right? A very different type of, very unique wedding dress, Google lens, boom. So that's how we were able to figure out what her name is. And from that point, you could do it in your sleep. So, yeah. But as I said, it's funny because these people try to backtrack when they've done really shitty things, and people realize that they're very shitty people. And then it's like they try to hide shit. But oh boy, it's not that easy. So let's talk. Okay, Amber. You got a couple, 3, 4 different names. I am going to be respectful, and I'm not going to, well, maybe not. I don't know. I have your phone number. obviously, I mean, your address. Funny thing about your address, I haven't gotten to your police records yet. The ones that you haven't really talked about. But it's funny how your next door neighbor is a police officer. I think that's rich. That is rich. I wonder if he knows your history. I mean, God, I know Florida Man used to talk about shit like, oh, I'm going to call your neighbors and I'm going to let them know. Now, I wouldn't do that, right? No, I would not do that. But I just think it's ironic that, you sat with a scum-sucking pig who did that to a lot of people. And here you go. You're sitting right next door to somebody who's a police officer. By the way, your car sucks too. Freaking one of those boxy cube vehicles. They're crap. I just thought I'd throw that in there too. Okay, so phone records, address history, possible criminal infractions. Oh no, we got your criminal infractions, girl. And you know what I don't want to hear, oh, it was when I was younger. It was, don't give a shit. You know why? Like I said, you're going to put false shit out and run with false shit on me and other people. Like, oh, I had a GoFundMe for my father's bills when he was in hospice dying. You ran with that stupid story, right? But if you had asked me, I would have said it was for fundraising for the organization. All the money went to them to continue on their program of helping people with their end-of-life care. But you didn't do that. No. You thought automatically I was raising money for myself to pay my father's bills. Listen, maybe your father is dead-ass broke and you would have to do that. But my parents were not. That's the difference, see. I was raising money for an organization. I was raising money for an organization to thank them for what they do for people. Yeah, and she laughed at him saying she was going to call hospice and harass them. Yep. The funny thing is this. She likes to call herself a witch, right? She shows all of her woo-woo things that she's got in her house. She makes the exploding candles for people that are supposed to be helpful for them. There's all sorts of witches around. All sorts of witches. And there's all sorts, hi Angel Eyes. There's all sorts of witches that have different focus, different powers. And I've been told that it's not a great idea sometimes for witches to go after witches. I was told that. But I also heard that in some cases it's okay. So I will say to you, Miss Monster, I hope you have a great, great Friday the 13th. So, going on here. Okay, so we got phone numbers. Amber. Amber Roselius. Okay. We'll just put out that name. Okay, let's hear. It seems like, I was behind somebody driving a couple days ago, and the woman was in her 90s. God bless her. And the only reason why I know she was in her 90s was because I actually followed her to the town dump. And she was talking to the guy there. And the guy said, so, well, how old are you now, ma'am? She said, I'm 92. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, she's driving a little slow, but she seems to be safe. Our friend Amber is not so much safe. Amber seems to have a problem. I think what's happened is some of her Botox has traveled down her right leg because Amber isn't sure how to apply enough pressure to a brake to stop her vehicle. Because she seems to have a problem with failing to stop at stop signs. Now, I'm going to tell you what. As a 41-year-old woman, ma'am, and, younger at this time when it happened to you, it's a skill that basic teenagers have mastered for their driving test. I would feel safer with that 92-year-old woman driving near me than Amber, if bitch doesn't know how to use a brake properly. Very concerning. But yeah, so we have a record there. Failure to stop at a stop sign. What the fuck? And that's not the only one. That's not the only one. Let's see what else here. 2018. Speeding limit over 65 miles an hour. June 13th, 2018. See, and I would feel safer still with the older woman because she wouldn't be speeding like this bullshit. And it's funny, your phone number is up there. Oh, on every page, your phone number is up here, dear. It's an interesting middle name you got, too. I'd like to know some background in that if you can tell me. Let's see what this is. California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. 2011. Unfortunately, it doesn't have what the charges are there. 2011, assault, huh? Oopsie. This is a big one. Okay, guys, settle in for a story. It's story time. June 19th, 2007. Charges filed July 12th, 2007. Now, yes, this is, almost 20 years ago. Description, it is California Penal Code 273A. Spousal abuse. So, what I did, California girls are undeniable. Yeah, exactly. Now, me and some of my associates who did some due diligence said, I wonder what PC 273.5A is. So, I went to the old Google search here. Any person who, under circumstances or conditions likely to produce great bodily harm or schmeth, willfully causes or permits any child to suffer or inflicts thereon unjustifiable physical pain or mental suffering, or having the care or custody of any child willfully causes or permits the person or health of that child to be injured, or willfully causes or permits that child to be placed in a situation where his or her person or health is endangered shall be punished by imprisonment in a county jail not exceeding 1 year or in the state prison for 2, 4, or 6 years. Part B. Any person who under circumstances or conditions other than those likely produce great bodily harm or death willfully causes or permits any child to suffer or inflicts thereon unjustifiable physical pain or mental suffering, or having the care or custody of any child willfully causes or permits the person or health of that child to be injured, or willfully causes permits any child to suffer, inflicts thereon unjustifiable physical pain or mental suffering, or having the care or custody of any child willfully causes or permits the person or health of that child to be injured, or willfully causes or permits that child to be placed in a situation where his or her person or health may be endangered, is guilty of a misdemeanor. No, this is monster. Section C. If a person is convicted of violating this section and probation is granted, the court shall require the following minimal conditions of probation. Number 1, a mandatory minimum period of probation of 48 months. Number 2, a criminal court protective order protecting the victim from further acts of violence or threats, and, if appropriate, residence exclusion or stay away conditions. Successful completion of no less than 1 year of a child abuser's treatment counseling program approved by the probation department. The defendant shall be ordered to begin participation in the program immediately upon, the grant of probation. The counseling program shall meet the criteria specified in 273.1, blah, blah, blah. If the offense was committed while the defendant was under the influence of drugs or alcohol, the defendant shall abstain from the use of drugs or alcohol during the period of probation and shall be subject to random drug testing by his or her probation officer. The court may waive any of the above minimum conditions of probation upon a finding that the condition would not be in the best interest of justice. The court shall state on the record its reasons for waiver. So, here is my question. Who is it that you were abusing? Where did you get an abuse charge? Was it spousal abuse? Was it your husband at the time? Or was it a child? I've got questions now. And that's a bad thing. When people start having questions, that means that more stuff let's continue. And by the way, just so you guys know, a no contest plea was put in by her attorney, which means, yeah, I did it. And just so, well, I don't want to show that because her name's on there. Well, you know what? To keep it on the up and up. Yeah, Kitty, I know she is a bitch. I'm sorry I'm wasting your time. Hi. Yeah, I know. Let me get a marker out here and I'm going to cross out her name. You know, at least do the right thing a little bit here. Okay, we'll cross out her phone number. We'll cross out that. And is there anything else? Okay, let me take this. Okay. I crossed out her name, so that should be okay. So just so you know, I'm not making shit up. No contest plea. Good morning. Let's see what else. This is interesting. At the same time, charges were filed. We have, let me cross out some stuff. Hold on. What do we have there? Failure to appear felon while on bail. You dirty bitch. Let's see what else we got. Oh, probation violation. On the offense date was 2008. So this, hold on. This was right after those charges. Dirty, dirty bitch. Oh, and here's another failure to to stop at a stop sign. Shit. That's that. I want to find. Let me pull up the nice article that was in her newspaper about her high-speed chase. Now, I mean, let's talk about when you're in a high-speed chase, being chased by the cops for a minute. And yeah, you know, you're going to hear, oh, I was an addict, and I don't care if you're a fucking addict. You put yourself in a vehicle, which is a dangerous instrument, that you are driving around while you are high, speeding, going from town to town, and you could have offed people. You could have offed kids. You know how you're such a advocate for children? Imagine if there was some kids riding bikes somewhere on the road. Imagine that. You would have been in a hell of a lot more hot water than that. Oh, you mods are busy today. Got a lot of pissed off people, huh? I'm sorry, I haven't been looking at the comments. Ah, so they're bothered, huh? Well, as I used to tell people when I got mad in college and they'd piss me off, you know what I'd tell them? Suck my left one. Seatbelt stop turns into 28-mile chase, January 18th, 2011. That's our girl. That's our girl. California girls are undeniable. Okay. A woman's apparent bid to keep a friend out of jail triggered a triggered. Isn't that funny how they use that for her? I'm sorry. That was pretty funny. I just noticed that. A woman's apparent bid to keep a friend out of jail triggered a 2-county, 28-mile police pursuit that ended with both women's arrests, Yuba City police reported. Amber, a 26-year-old transient, was detained after a chase that began at 9:50 a.m. Saturday in Yuba City, according to Police Sergeant Michelle Mitchell was booked at the Sutter County Jail on suspicion of felony evasion of police officers and driving with a suspended license. An officer tried to stop Mitchell's 1991 Pontiac Grand Prix sedan at Gray Avenue and Plaza Way for a seatbelt violation. Instead, Mitchell sped onto Live Oak Boulevard heading north and later merged onto Highway 99 at Loma Crossing and sped through Live Oak and Gridley at more than 90 miles per hour. Because that's a safe thing to do when a police wants to pull you over for something. California Highway Patrol officers joined the pursuit as the Pontiac continued up Highway 99 just north of Nelson Shippey Road, north of the Thermalito Afterbay. The car's engine failed, allowing officers to end the chase without injuries or collisions. Damn, you gotta make sure your engine is lubed there, girl. Mitchell sped away from the attempted stop to prevent the arrest of another Yuba City woman, 20-year-old Ashley Souza, for a probation violation, according to Brazil. Souza served jail time in 2008 on rug possession charges. The two were being held at the Sutter County Jail. Mitchell was charged with evading police, driving on a suspended license, and for not wearing a seatbelt. Her bail was set at $50,000. Witches do normally fly on brooms, but her choice was a Pontiac. So 2013, we'll give her props here. This is before facial reconstruction, Botox, injections, destroying her face with tattoos. My opinion only. She was very pretty. Why she had to destroy that, I don't know. Right? I think she looks great here too. Give her some props. She did her time. She did much better. You know, she kicked the habit. We'll give her that. See, that monster, you see what I'm doing there? Even though I think you're an asshole, I'm giving you some props. Because indeed, you did the time. And you turned the corner. But you're not an angel. You're not the devil. You're somewhere in between. In the article about your transformation, you talk about how one of the people that helped you was a pastor, a priest, something like that. I think you need to talk to him again because I think you lost your way. You're not a very nice person on here. I can't tell you, the conversations I've had, off this app with some people about Monster. And you know what? There's always the same reaction to her. And she seems like she could be a really nice person. But unfortunately, Amber is for the kids, right? She goes fucking ballistic with anything that has to do with kids, right? When it has to do with, she's obviously the Epstein files. She's got her panties in a bunch about, which all of us do. I mean, I'm still waiting to hear what the hell is going on with that because everything has not been released. And as I've said before, I don't care who's on the list. Democrat, Republican, Independent, Green Party, Tea Party. I don't give a shit what party. Anybody that's on that list needs to be hauled in and questioned, in my opinion. This is her Twitter. What is it with women having to do these thirst pictures? I don't get it. I don't understand what what she's trying to attract there. But I can tell you one thing. That's interesting. Guess who Miss Amber, otherwise known as Psychotic Beautiful Disaster, guess who she follows on Twitter? Drum roll, please. Da-da-da-da-da-da! Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey, who has so many damn allegations of sexual misconduct, but that's on her list. So she's a sympathizer. She is a sympathizer. Go figure. Yep, you know what? I lost the remote. You said to me in a text, these people that make the most noise about a topic, if you dig into them, chances are there's something they're hiding. Kevin Spacey. Well, will you look at that? I can hear it now. I haven't used this account for so long, and at that time, I didn't know he would. Shut up! Shut all the way up. Because you know what? We're all sick of your bullshit. There's a nice closer look if you want to see it. Oops. Let's see what else I have here. The Piercing Queen. Voted best for body piercings 2024. Featured on Good Day Sacramento News. Why do I get the hint that Monster is one of those people that gives piercings and probably gets off on causing pain to people? I get that feeling. I get the feeling she revels. She revels in that. Please vote for me best piercer in Yuba Sutter. Each vote counts as an entry. How many times did you have to post that on your Facebook, huh? For people to vote for you? To be the best piercer? If you were the best piercer, you'd win it anyways. You wouldn't have to, post everything multiple times. Weirdo. I'm just going through to see if I missed anything. This is one of my favorite pictures. I'm not really sure the vibe she's trying to get here, but yeah, she's in a coffin. Candle making contest. Listen, I heard her candles were so explosive that prior to going into Iran this past time, the government contacted her and said, listen, we need some type of a new weapon to get rid of the nuclear capabilities that Iran holds. Can you please make us 10,000 of your explosive candles? And look, according to Trump, we're winning. Oh, shit. So, Monster, listen. You like to say a lot of shit about me. Okay? As Mike learned, and yes, I'm still gloating about that. He's no longer around us. As Mike learned, and he tried for almost 2 years to find anything on me and could not. He tried. I've led a boring life, unlike you, Leadfoot. I've led a very boring life. And by boring, I mean I am a law-abiding citizen. Been married once. Had a wonderful career. Never spent a day, behind bars. Very boring life. And as you are continuing to do, and as Mr. Kinney continued to do, as he's done to so many people, he had to make up shit. Because when you can't find anything, rather than moving on, you make up some disgusting bullshit on somebody. Now, I could have done that, right? I mean, Monster, I could have done that to you. And you know what? I could have made up some terrible bullshit about you. And there'd be a lot of people on this app that would say, well, you know what? I understand why she did it because, Monster supported somebody who did the same thing to her. And Monster was okay with it. She never stood up and said, hey, Mike, no, show some proof of that. Don't say stuff like that. Never once did I hear her or anybody say that. So myself and many people would be justified making up horrendous things about people on here. But there's this thing called a moral compass that many of us have. And I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. It's just not in my nature to do that. I'll put the truth out. If you're going to keep frickin' poking me, I'll do it, which I did. So, there's that. So, Monster, I hope you have a wonderful day. I know there are a lot of very, very special women I know today saying some quote-unquote prayers for you right now. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Yeah, especially when you don't do them right. Especially when you don't do them right. Okay, one more thing here. Let me check. Tiff, I don't know why you're posting like a video saying that you effed my wife. I mean, I think that's really weird. I honestly do think you need some help. Weirdo. I mean, I want your opinion, guys.
West side when we ride, come equipped with game. You claim to be a player, but I fucked your wife. We bust on bad. First off, fuck your bitch in the click you claim. West side when we ride, come equipped with game. You claim to be a player, but I fucked your wife. We bust on bad. First off, fuck your bitch in the click you claim. West side when we ride, come equipped with game. You claim to be a player, but I fucked your wife. We bust on bad. First off, fuck your bitch in the click you claim.
Is that the scariest fucking thing you've ever seen in your life? Listen, I'm not trying to be mean, but I mean, I don't know. When she puts something about me on a video, okay? And she's saying that, let me get that. I may be in pain. Of course, she has to trauma dump there. I may be in pain, but I'm still a happier person than some sad old lady spinning lies to feel relevant on the app. I'm still waiting to hear about the lies. I've asked that a million times, but she's too busy trying to figure out what outfit she's going to wear for her videos to try to attract somebody. I am glad you didn't wear your filter this time, though, because, you know, everybody's kind of onto that. But I'll go head-to-head with you, dear, anytime without a filter. I'm just saying, shit. But I do have a response for that. So, here you go. Let me get the volume up here.
I might be older, but I'm also wiser. Take your trauma dumping ass somewhere else.
Let me do this one more time because it's worth a second look. Come on.
I might be older, but I'm also wiser. Take your trauma dumping ass somewhere else.
That pretty much sums it up. Pretty much sums it up. Yeah, I woke up today. I chose violence.
Was there a difference in the house once he left?
Let's go over to Scooter.
Yeah. Was it much like? Could you feel like atmosphere wise it was different, stress wise and all that?
This is a continuation of the live I had back in September with Sean's sister. Sean again has put out information that I've never shown receipts of anything, and everything is lies. Of course, his entire family is lying. Dan Bobby and I had talked to some of his family members. They reached out to him, and he had asked them if it was okay if he reached out to me. And this is how this whole live came to be on September 29th. Now, Information during this live was it was brought out regarding his behavior as to why his mother had him removed from the house. And as we had heard, based on what his sister said, it was because of inappropriate touching of a neighbor by him. And there was a second incident of it with somebody else. And I'm not going to talk about who that person is because I just, trigger warning, folks. Trigger warning, trigger warning. We realized during this live that he lied about pretty much everything. Just as a recap, since, some of you may not have been there. He had said that, he did that whole thing a couple summers ago. Oh, Scammy Claus and all the people doing awareness on me. You made me go into a mental health clinic because I was having a breakdown and blah, 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 all that bullshit. Turns out that he was diagnosed at a young age with mental health issues, but refused to take medication. Still doesn't take medication after being diagnosed over 35 years ago. And when he was in his mental health place, summer of 2024, the doctor had prescribed him medication to help him to be able to balance off what was not balanced. And he refused to take it. So there's that. So you're going to hear some more stuff. Now, his sister had been in contact with her mother that day, with their mother that day. I was able to ask some questions. Another thing that we found out is when he was down in in Texas last summer, he was saying, when he was going to move, that he needed money because he was moving to Vermont to be closer to his mother because his mother was ill and he needed to be closer to her because she was in the hospital. We found out in the live that he lied about that. Mom is not sick. I mean, she's elderly, so she's got some health concerns like most people do, but she was not in the hospital, and he totally used her as a money grab, which is pretty sick. So again, trigger warning, we're going to hear some stuff about childhood trauma. We're going to hear some stuff regarding DV. We're going to hear stuff about rugs. So I just want to give you guys a heads up. Yeah, exactly. Mom was sick of his BS. So just want to give you a heads up with that. I'm going to play this through. I will probably fast forward through some of it, though.
Go stand in the middle of the jail cell. Then what? Then do that again. Yeah. Yeah. The air was thick. It was full of tension. A butter knife just couldn't cut through it.
And once he was out of that house, that was all gone?
Oh, yes.
When did you realize, at what age did you realize that, he was problematic, in terms of his behavior and all that? I mean, did you know it at that time, or did it take you a little while when you got older?
I knew, but I always wanted to be close to my brother, so I always had hopes upon hopes. And at 14, 15, of course you're going to be naive because you haven't lived and experienced life.
Mm-hmm.
So I always hope that things were going to change and he was going to be amazing, because I used to think my brother could be anything he wanted to be, and be an upstanding citizen, a good man. Because
Diana, I tried to get him to just look at his outlook on life different, try a job. He just doesn't want to change.
yeah, no. Now, when he finally did get back with me, we turned around and we hit it off, and nothing really seemed amiss right off the bat.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, right, this is awesome. I have my brother. My brother's just great. I was so happy. And then all of a sudden, small things started happening. He got together with one of my friends, and she would share a little bit. And then all of a sudden, things went south. And she's like, I don't want him at my house. I don't want him at my house. Tell him I'm not home. And she would never get into it with me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. And that put a strain on her and I's friendship.
Yeah. As it would. I mean, that makes sense, you know?
Yeah.
That definitely makes sense. Well, how old were you when he got back, when, you know, you guys started talking again?
About 22, 23.
Okay. So, you know, you're 22, 23. Do you want to share some of the things that you saw that made you uncomfortable, or do you not want to go there? That's fine regardless.
I didn't really see much of anything for a while. I'm trying to think. In 2003, it got to the point where he wanted to walk my boys to the store, because he would come over, especially at the beginning of the month, and be like, hey, I want to treat the boys. And I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. But little did he know, because my boys were young, my daughter was 3. And I turned around and I didn't like the vibe, or I guess you can call it intuition.
Okay. No, I hear you.
If I don't keep my eyes, he's going to touch my boys.
Wow. Okay, so you heard that, right? From his sister. His sister was very uncomfortable with SHAUN being with his boys, and she wasn't with them. So there's your receipt, SHAUN, that you wanted to hear. I'm sure SHAUN's in here too. I'm sure he is. You know, all these people, I remember there was another creator on here that called me out for saying, oh, well, you put a false jacket on SHAUN and you've never shown receipts, and, you know, it was your opinion and you never... Shut up. This was from September 29th, 2025. So all these people saying that, oh, you know, you made shit up. Yeah, no, I didn't.
So where I lived, I could literally see them as they were walking, and I was getting ready just to grab my daughter and go out the door if need be. Because he couldn't have veered anywhere else.
Yeah.
Because he said, I'll be back.
Hey, Diana, people are wondering, do you have on or something? Because
I haven't got no TV on.
Okay, because we're getting some background noise. I'm not sure what it is, but there's some background noise, definitely.
Oh, I hear background noise myself. I haven't said anything. But I don't have it. I'm in my bedroom while my husband's sleeping.
Okay. Do me a favor. Can you drop and I'll bring you back up and let's see if that clears it up, because sometimes TikTok is a little wonky like that.
All right.
Okay, thanks. I'll kick you out. Let me skip. Diana comes back. Why don't you ask any questions that you'd like? Because I'm sure I'm missing stuff. I'm kind of going on.
Also like to ask a couple of questions.
Sure. Okay, let me invite you back up here. There you go. And I'm going to mute so you guys can, ask what you'd like.
Okay.
Now, the other person you hear talking here is a woman. She comes in here a lot. Her name is Meeps. Meepers. She was in a relationship with Sean for 16 years. Okay. So you're going to hear her asking Sean's sister some questions. Thank you for coming back.
Not a problem.
Meeps, you had a couple of questions you wanted to ask. And Diana, I want you to know also, if there's something you don't feel comfortable with answering, please let us know that. We're not, I don't want to put anybody in an uncomfortable situation tonight, okay?
Hi, Diana.
Hello.
I just, from my perspective, he always made me feel like don't become Facebook friends with my sister. All she does is lie, and you probably got the same side about me. But I just, you don't have to answer this, but I'm just wondering, did nobody in the family feel comfortable enough to just reach out to me and tell me this?
I had no way to get in contact with you, and I didn't even know your last name or whatever. The reason why he didn't like his partners talking to me because they would ask questions. And if they asked questions, he knew I wasn't going to sugarcoat it, because if you want to know something, ask me, because no one's ever accused me of being silly freaking Wonka.
Right.
Use a lie and bend for anybody, because it's not right. Lying's not right. Stealing's not right. Scamming people's not right.
No, it's not at all. I wasn't even on this app until people messaged me and were telling me things that he was saying about me that weren't even true.
I heard some things, but I figured they're likely lies. So, and I was like, well, if she wants to get in contact with me,
Things that I just never knew how. But now I know. So, yeah, so send me a message on here anyway, and I'll share with you my last name so you can Facebook me. I mean, I said it wrong, sorry.
And Meeps, along those same lines, okay, I wanted to tell you, again, I had a conversation today. Bobby came in on the tail end of it with me. It was with two relatives. And
on his dad's side or mom's side?
It was one of his exes.
Oh, okay.
And a relative. These people asked to remain as anonymous as possible because, kind of like Diana.
Yeah, I respect that.
They can't stand him. They hate him. They just don't want to be a part of his life. Nothing. But I can tell you that he's made, and pardon me for kind of. They just don't want to be a part of it about who it is. But from what I was told, Sean pretty much has claimed that all of his exes were rug addicts.
Oh, yes, he said that about me.
Yes.
I'm in recovery, so You know, yeah, when I met him, I was. Yes, I was. I've never denied that.
We've met before, haven't we?
We only met once or twice, and that was maybe
Now
2011 or 12.
Who you are. Okay.
Well, I was with him for almost 16 years.
Yeah, I'm sorry for you.
Thank you. I'm married now to a wonderful man.
Oh, congrats.
And let me tell you something, Diana, that chaps Alfred's ass like crazy. He fucking hates that Meeps is with somebody and is happy, and it absolutely chaps his hiney.
Oh, I'd love to blow this thing out of the water.
Yeah.
What seriously makes me mad, oh, my buns are fried. Because let me tell you on what, that lousy SOB has never served in the military. Oh, Lord. Stealing valor is what my husband likes to refer it to.
Yep.
Wasn't he said he was in the Marines?
He ain't never been no military.
Oh, well, I know that, but he's claimed that to me and some of my family members many times.
If my husband would be awake, I'd be like, you want to meet a real-life veteran?
Yeah.
He's a combat.
We have a gentleman, Diana, that comes in here. His name is Guardians of Valor.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't age well. He works for the Stolen Valor Association, and he calls out people. And he indeed, did a search for SHAUN, obviously, just to prove, hi Guardians, that he indeed lied about it. And SHAUN to this day claims that he never said that. Yet, we've heard multiple stories.
Oh, yes, he has said it.
Yeah, I know. So, getting back to some of the questions that people were asking here, and I know why somebody's asking this. Was SHAUN ever I don't want to say violent, but was he ever bad did he ever treat animals poorly? Did he ever unalive little animals or anything when he was little?
He has injured. Remember I said something about my grandmother's house and a coffee pot?
Yep.
There was a cat there.
Wow.
And he beat the cat in front of
oh my God.
Our two really little cousins.
Wow. Well, I don't know if you know this about Alfred, but he took in a stray cat that was pregnant. The cat had 5 kittens, and miraculously, one by one, they all passed away.
Oh.
Yeah. He claimed that, after the third one passed, he claimed he took them to the vet, and the vet said, oh, well, they have problems because they were inbred and they didn't, their lungs didn't grow properly and this and that. And then he brought the mother cat home with the 2 cats, and then the other 2 kittens passed away. To put the icing on the cake, Diana, when he moved from Texas to where he is now, he left the 2 cats. He said he gave them to a neighbor. Because his sweetheart has a dog, and he had imagined that this dog would be spending a lot of time there. Yes, they do, Peteness. Pettiness, Peteness, whatever. And let me be clear about something there. She just said about a cat at the grandmother's house, and that story was there was an uncle that was thinking about taking SHAUN in because SHAUN was a ward of the state, and the uncle was thinking of letting Shaun stay at his house. And something happened, and Shaun went into a rage, and he broke a teapot, broke some stuff in the house. And trigger warning here, according to what his sister said, he beat up the cat with the teapot and unalived it. Hey, Robin. I hope you're feeling well, Robin. So, we all thought the whole story was weird with how he had these kittens, and one by one they started passing away. And I don't have any proof that he had anything to do with those 5 kittens, one by one slowly losing their lives. But there's questions. Yes, he did, Jody Lane. He threatened to duct tape his grandmother. Yep.
And lo and behold, he blew that whole thing up. Or I should say, Dan Bobby did some pretty damn good research. And, I'm not sure of the status of them. I really could give a rat's ass. Yeah. Bobby and Brandy, do you guys have any questions for Diana or me? Do you have any other questions for her? Something maybe she's talked to you about, Bobby, that you want to ask her about?
No, I just want to thank Diane for coming up telling her story. She told everything that she's told me, and I just wanted the story to get out. That's basically it.
And like I said earlier, Bobby, I don't think you were on. And I've been following Shaun for a long time and calling him out for begging on this app, and we've all heard his stories over the past year and a half, wherever, however long people in here have been following him, and he's told a lot of stories, and a lot of the stories, as I said, that he told were lies. Number one, he indeed. He said that his mother put him up for adoption because she couldn't handle him. That might have been part of the truth, but more importantly was the fact of what he did with some young children. That was the reason. It wasn't that he was out of control. That was a part of it, but the deal breaker was that. He did have the opportunity, family, but he blew himself out of that one too. That didn't happen. So, we talk about bad choices that people make. And, as Bobby has talked to people, as I've talked to some people today, more and more lies have been shown to me. I can tell you that today, indeed, that remember he told that story about how he went to prison because he was sticking up for. I think he said there was a woman in a bar that was getting assaulted or something. Do you guys remember that story, Bobby? Maybe
he told Brandon. What he told me is that he had a cousin that was exploited by somebody in there,
right?
And that's why.
Yes, he said he was attacking a pedo.
Right. I can tell you today, based on 2 relatives that I was messaging, the reason why he went to jail and he went to prison. Trigger warning, everybody, please. This is a DV trigger warning, so if that type of thing is hard to listen to, then you may want to leave here for a few minutes.
No way.
What I was told today was that the reason why he was arrested was because he beat up the mother of one of her kids. She was 8 months pregnant with the child. According to what this ex told me, is that he didn't want her to have the baby. He had asked her to have the baby, and she wasn't going to do that. And he beat her up. And I think it went so far as he pushed her down the stairs. She ended up calling her mother, and her mother called the police in Lewiston, and he was arrested. And that's why he was arrested. It had nothing to do with him sticking up for somebody. And that was verified today by his ex.
Wow. I never heard that before.
Me neither.
Because he lied. He told you that he was trying to be, Super Shaun, and he was, saving the day, and he was saving this person that was, being, abused, and absolutely it was the other way around.
I'm so glad I got away from him.
Yep.
I can tell you also
that when Shaun was in prison, so he was not there for the birth of the child. And from that point on, obviously she didn't want him around. And he had nothing to do with the child that was born when he was in prison. There was another child in the house at the time. He was supposed to have visitation, and he did not visit the other child. And that's when he signed over his custody. He did not sign over custody of his kids because he claims he had cancer.
Nope.
He has said that like he did this wonderful thing. He didn't want his kids to see him slowly unalive from cancer, and that's why I walked away from the kids. No.
Then there's a story of him saying that it was me calling DHS saying that he was an unfit father.
That's what he used to tell me. He used to tell me that all the time. You were calling.
Nope. There was one time with I was close friends with one of his exes.
Yeah, I know that.
I won't name names, and I won't name which child.
Thank you.
He turned around and she called me up, told me she had asked her, well, would you like me to bring him with me so he can at least see the baby? She said yes. And she wasn't aware that her mom was going to pop up.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to say, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure, if I recollect correctly, so don't quote me,
Oh, I can't. I wasn't there.
that I think her mom was a lawyer.
Yeah, I can't remember that. I think I know who you're talking about, but we're not going to say names.
Exactly. And we showed up at the hospital. Well, her mother had him escorted all of the hospital, and he thought for sure I set him up. And I didn't. I just wanted him to be able to see his son. And
Diana, you don't know how many times he had told me that you called DHS on him or you set him up.
well, I mean, really, if anybody with half a brain, they'll put two and two together. You cannot call DHS and say, hey, this person's an unfit parent.
Right, they're going to do an
Investigation that goes on. Now you got to think of his past. He was in foster home after foster home after foster home. These people didn't want him, so they turn on and sent him to that group home, Spurwink in South Portland. Well,
Yeah, I heard.
he ended up
I heard about
aging
that.
out because nobody wanted him.
Can I ask you a question?
So
Just
they
a
have
quick
to brief the
question.
parents.
I don't want to take up a lot of time, but can I ask a question?
Sure.
I don't know if you're familiar with a scar he has on his shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how he got that?
I certainly do. I
Okay.
certainly do.
I would like to hear that, and then I would like to tell you how he got it, what he told me.
Okay. We were living on Maple Street in Lewiston. If I'm not mistaken, it was the 3rd floor. I don't think the building's there anymore. If it is, I'll be surprised. We were young. We were playing on the porch, and there was another young man, and his name was also Sean. And him and my brother were wrestling around, and my brother went through the window.
Okay. Can I share the story he told me about that scar?
Sure.
Smash, this is this is a live that I did back in September. About he used to be on TikTok a lot. His name was Sean Gummy Bear. He's on Favorited now, and this live debunked a bunch of his lies that he's been saying his whole life. Lies that he used to collect thousands and thousands of dollars from people on this app for various things he begged for. He had really good stories about him growing up and, how everybody done him wrong. And it turned out, regarding this live that mostly everything he said about his life was lies. So, last weekend, Sean was on live, and I was streaming him for a little while. He was on Favorited, and he was talking about how, he's seen no receipts of what his sister or his mom had said about him, and pretty much said that I was full of crap and I didn't show receipts. So, oopsie, here you go, Shawnee. No problem.
He told me he was in Central Park in New York, and a man was beating up his girlfriend or wife.
Oh, God.
Stepped in and got.
No,
Yeah.
he got that at a very young age. I'll say maybe about 3. And it was a really big, nasty scar. I mean, obviously, being that young, and you see the size of it now.
Right.
You know the size of it.
Yeah, right.
So Sean has a hero complex.
Seems like it.
Yes, I was listening to one of his things before, and he said that he was sticking up for me, and that wasn't the case. It was vice versa. It was me sticking up for him, and he didn't get that. I don't know where he got the scar on his hand from, but yeah.
Oh, also, Diana, I would like to be in contact with your mom because I always loved her, but I was afraid to because we split up and he was in the,
Oh, honey, my mom still talks to my ex-husband.
Okay.
So that should say something to you.
Okay, that's good to know.
And Diana, tell us, without getting too, giving out too much information, how is your mom doing?
She is fine.
So she's not gravely ill.
No,
That's so good to hear.
she's not gravely ill. She's literally, right now, she's probably watching TV in bed right now, or coloring, or maybe sleeping.
Or on her phone playing a game.
Right.
So pretty much when he was telling people, when he was trying to get $1,220 a new apartment because he needed to be closer to his mom, that was a bull-faced lie.
Yes, because she's already informed neighbors. described how he looks to neighbors.
I can see her being mortified.
She's making sure her doors are locked because she won't answer the door for him. She'll answer the phone, but that's a different story.
Now, he had made a comment a couple nights ago on live that somebody reached out to him and what did he say? Did he say his mom? Somebody reached out to him and said...
Okay, I know what you're talking about. You don't even have to finish that spiel. Okay. So I turned around. I ended up finding out what he was doing with this, trying to garner money so he could do whatever to go supposedly help our mother. I informed my mother. My mother then told me, she goes, you message him and you tell him I'm dead.
Wow.
Their mother is spicy too, so
I
believe
turned around. I did message him, but then I felt bad because I didn't want to be like him. I did not want to lie in any way, shape, or form. So I turned around. I thought that the TikTok Messenger worked like Facebook Messenger. So I thought I had unsend the message, which clearly didn't happen because I thought better of it. I'm like, no, because then he's going to turn around and try and scam people because he's going to claim that he needs to pay for a funeral and this and that. And he's going to end up, oh, Lord. And the truth of that would be, it would fall on me and my sister. It's my sister.
Right. And you know, it's funny that you said that because that's exactly what he'd do. He would say, I need $1,000 to help with my mother's funeral costs. You know, if anybody can, I mean, I could totally see him doing that.
You know what? I'll say it right here, right now. I'll tell you all exactly what my mother wants when she dies. Okay? So that way it'll be debunked before it even happens.
Oh.
My mother wants to be cremated. Then she wants a celebration of her life with her children and grandchildren, minus him.
Wow.
Because she doesn't want him around the grandbabies or the great-grandchildren.
Whoa.
Let alone her dead body.
And you know, again, I want, you know, everybody that's listening in here and watching from the outside, and, you know, I'm going to let you know, Sean is not blocked on this account. From his main account is not blocked.
Don't share.
No, I know, but I just, you know, I wanted to put that out there. But, you know, you have his sister putting out the truth about him. You have his sister putting out the truth about his mother and how his mother feels about him. Today, I was in contact with one of his exes that he had children with. She is just, you know, I think the quote was, you know, because I said, can I bring up some of this information tonight? And I think her exact quote was, effing bury him. Okay, you have, you know, you have kids who don't want to talk to him. I mean, this should all paint a picture of who he really is. How long have we been telling you that Sean is not a good guy? He's a terrible human being. And all this time, what does he do? He says, "Oh, about me." So is it possible that every single person, even relatives of his, sisters, exes, kids, everybody's lying about him? Does that make any sense?
You know, it took me a while to come to that realization. Everybody be having the same story, but his lie like changes on the daily.
Yeah.
Like it started like sinking into my head.
I want to clear something up because I just got a text message. I can tell you that there are relatives of his listening to this live right now, they might actually be in here, and I have my messages open because to the people I spoke today, I said, if there's anything that I'm saying that's not correct, please clear it up so I can clear it up. And what I want to clear up is when he was arrested, what he had tried to do was throw his ex down the stairs because he didn't want her to have the child.
That sounds like, huh?
So
I don't know whose ex that is.
yeah, I don't want to put names out there because you know, obviously
that is too.
the other thing that I want to say is that very recently he threatened one of his kids, and I mean very recently, saying that if they talk to any of us, that he was going to spread lies about them.
Oh, well, I'm ain't worried because obviously he's been doing nothing but spreading lies about me, so what do I care?
Don't feel bad. He lies about me constantly too. So
you know, I know with Meeps, when he was with Meeps, he worked very little. Meeps, when he was with you, he did not take any medications for what he was collecting SSI for, correct?
no, nope, not at all. I know his exact diagnosis. I'm not going to say it.
Yep.
But if Diana wants to reach out, I will tell her. But no, he was not taking meds for what he was diagnosed with.
I'm going to read you something that was put in a chat today when I was discussing Sean. He got arrested because he was beating me and dragged me down our stairs when I was 7 months pregnant. I was on the phone with her mother. She called Lewiston Police Department. They saw the marks I had and arrested him instantly.
I believe that story because when I first met him in 06, when he was 28, it was New Year's Eve. And I said, do you want to, just go out for a couple of drinks? And he didn't want to, but I did. And he said, if you leave, I'm going to smash up. I had a the building was just built. So I had a brand new apartment. And he said, I'm going to smash up everything in this kitchen. It will be crushed if you go out tonight.
That doesn't surprise me. He had an ex-girlfriend he threw throwing stars at. And then one of his other girlfriends that was pregnant with child, again, I'm not going to name names. He had thrown a bottle at her and it barely missed her head. All because she said she wanted space and a separation for the time being while she figured her was best for the baby.
I've experienced similar things with him.
I can tell you some other information that I found out. He said that he gave up his kids because he was diagnosed with cancer. To see him deteriorate due to his cancer diagnosis. Again, that's not the case. One of the kids, the mother had to give up custody because of Sean made her homeless, and she had to live in a tent for a while. And she could not take care of a child in a tent. based on what Shaun did. And that was why one of the kids was put up for adoption.
Can I ask Diana just one more question?
For adoption.
Can I ask Diana just one more question?
Sure.
'Cause I'm just like, my mind's blown right now. Diana, he told me in his late teens and early 20s, we can't say the word on here. So, was he ever into rack when he was younger? With a C?
I don't even know what that is.
Was he into rugs? Did he do rugs when he was younger? And by that, instead of an R, put a D in front of it?
Like C-rack?
I don't even know what that is. Oh my God. Oh.
My butt crack.
I get it. Not that I'm aware of.
So he lied to me about that too.
Wow. The hits keep coming. I'll tell you.
They sure do.
Diana, did he ever reach out to you and ask for money?
No?
No.
I'll answer because he knew he wouldn't get it from her.
That's right.
Yep. So, again, what we've the lies that have been exposed tonight, and it's major ones. Number one, he can work. His SSI is not for physical reasons. I'm not sure why he even still gets that. If he refuses to take medication that would help him, if that's the reason why he's on it, for the life of me, I don't know what it is with SSI and all that. He's 47 years old. Taking medication would help him and would allow him to get a job. And let's talk about even before he had that muscle tear or whatever. Okay? He refuses to work. He refuses to take medicine to make himself better. So whenever he talks about, that excuse doesn't wash anymore, because he was diagnosed a long time ago and refuses to take medication. So he can forget about using that as a sympathy grab. Number two, he did not walk away from his kids or sign them over because he had cancer. He left his kids flat out. For various reasons, he did not want to have his kids. He did not want to take care of his kids. He did not want anything with his kids. And number three, it is indeed true that when he was young, there was inappropriate things that happened with him and some younger people, and that's why he was. That's why his mom couldn't take care of him anymore. She did not feel comfortable with it. So, those are, three major lies that he has built his platform on to use for a money grab. Why he went to prison. Oh, he's a hero. He was trying to save somebody in a bar. That's a lie. I was in Central Park and I was trying to help somebody that was, whatever, being attacked, whatever. That's a lie. And so when we say that Shaun lies all the time, and when we call him out for all this bullshit he does, and I hope his mods are listening. I hope to God his mods are listening. Because if you continue to support this based on what you've heard his sister say, based on what you've heard what his mom has said about him, based on what you've heard him do to one of his exes, come on.
Oh, didn't he question about where he was now?
Yes.
I'll tell you, he's in Illinois.
Yes, he is.
Question, because I'm baffled. Did he ever have a girlfriend and he was down there and she got hit by an 18-wheeler and he was going to propose to her in like Kennesaw, Georgia?
Huh?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Wow.
Yeah, I've heard that story before.
According to my mother, he's been engaged many, 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 many times.
He knew I would never marry him.
Wow.
But he, like, that story, the girlfriend, he even had a name. Her name was Annie.
That's my mother's name.
You know what? It didn't connect at the time, but, like, that story sat with me, and now I feel like almost 16 years of my life was a lie.
It's got to be hard to hear, Meeps.
It's very hard to hear, but, you know, I'm glad. I hope me and her can have some kind of relationship.
Oh, yeah.
And your mom, because I'm not a bad person.
Didn't think you were.
Yeah, I never thought you were either. It just, you know, he led me to believe things that, well, let's just say he told me things and wanted me to believe them, and I didn't believe them, but if I reached out to anybody, then I was going against him.
Yeah, and then there'd be hell to pay. I know.
Yeah.
I just got a message from somebody that pretty much, I mean, it verifies, you know, what we knew about him when he was in the camper. You know, it said that when he lived in the camper, the money he got, he used for alcohol instead of getting stuff he needed, like food, fixing his car, rent, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that you know, we saw that on a daily basis with him and his Everclear. Yeah.
Any other questions for me?
You know what, Diana, you've filled in a huge gap in his life, and you know, I appreciate you coming here, and I know it was probably like opening up some old wounds. You know,
It has been rough because, I mean, I've been speaking to Bobby, and like I said, him and I are complete opposites. He loves the chaos and mayhem, and me, I'm like a hippie, except I don't hug the trees.
Diana,
nothing wrong with hugging.
Will you send me a message on TikTok, and I'll give you my Facebook info?
Oh, yeah.
Please and thank you.
Not a problem.
Thank you. It was nice talking with you.
It's very hard.
Yeah, you do.
I'm new-ish to this TikTok thing.
I was too when I first found out that he was talking about me.
Yeah.
But you take care, and I hope all the kids are doing good.
Oh, yeah. Most of them are all grown.
Oh, I know.
Diana, thank you so much for coming in tonight. I appreciate you giving us some insight from your perspective. You have answered a lot of questions. You know, you've kind of made what we've been doing on here, bringing awareness to him, some credence for what we've been saying. And, you know, he can't turn around now and say, oh, well, all they do is they lie about me all the time.
Yeah.
But, you know, as we found out afterwards, and that's pretty much the end of the part with his family on it. But what we found out, of course, is that indeed, when he heard that there were family members that did come into a live and talk, of course, he said they're all lying. Because he's a good dude, guys. Remember that. He's a good dude. He's a good dude. He's a good catch. So, you know, I hope Sean heard that. I hope it goes back to him. I do believe now that this will be uploaded onto YouTube because the rest of this live, Luann's couple of Luann's kids came in and we're talking about how, he went to Illinois because of her. Thank you, Scam. So, Shawnee, if you want to hear the whole thing, it'll be on ScamSlam 411 on my live, and you can listen to it, and you can play it during your live and tell everybody that every single person and what they said tonight were lies about you. Sean was live on Favorited Sunday night because I streamed him a little bit. And when he found out I was streaming him, of course, he lost his shit and went on a vulgar tirade. And that's when he said, oh, you said all this stuff about me and my family, and I haven't seen any receipts. Bitch, hold my beer, as I said. And now I'm going to pick my beer up and continue to sip it. So there's your receipts, Shawnee. So yeah, and the reason why, Tracy, the reason why, I'm not playing the rest of it is because it has to do with Luann and the kids and, Luann's kids, there was some information put out about their minors. And, that's why we didn't put the original live on YouTube because we wanted to protect, Luann's kids and her grandkids. So, yes, Lego hair activated. So there it is. All that information, and you know what? People could take it or leave it, I have been saying these things now for a while, and when we had that live in September, they definitely gave credence to what people have been saying for a long time about Sean. That Sean has been lying about. So, I hope that answers some questions. I hope that, maybe there's people that go back and forth between Favorited and TikTok, to go over to Sean's because, they support him and all that. You heard it from the family. You heard it from the family. And if he's going to say that people lie, people are lying about him, it's unfathomable for me to think that every single person in Sean's life is lying. And maybe it's that he's lying. Can I review Thomas's post, his recent post? Yes. Is it the one that I made a post about? Is that the one you're talking about? Okay, yeah. I'll pop that up.
Click you claim West Side when we ride, come equipped with game. You claim to be a player, but I fucked your wife. We bust on bad. First off, fuck your bitch in the click you claim. West Side when
She's
we
so
ride,
hard.
come equipped with game. You claim to be a player, but I fucked your wife. We bust on bad. First off, fuck your bitch in the click you claim. West Side when we ride, come
Weirdo. I just think it's. Hold on. I just think it's. I think it's weird that she would make a post about me and have the music behind it where she's saying that she's effed my wife. I mean, that's creepy as hell. This is Thomas's post here. So he's saying in this post that, You have to appreciate Jacksonville, Florida. There's so many homeless dogs everywhere to be helped. Tell me something, Scam. How long did it take you to figure out he was in Seattle? Like, how many minutes, like literally, how many minutes did it take you to figure out? And I know there was somebody else who did it too. How long did it take for you guys to figure out that he was in Seattle? Hi, Fiona. 5 minutes. Yeah. He is in Seattle. He is in a tent. He is in a homeless encampment. Scam and Tracy were able to figure that out pretty damn quickly, down to when he was live and he showed a highway he was near. Tracy was able to tell right away what highway it was. So, Thomas, listen, we rode this rodeo a year ago, okay? I still have my cowboy boots and my cowboy hat. And if you want to do that again, I will gladly wear those items again. And myself and the group of other women that bitch slapped you halfway across the country, letting the police know where you were and what you were doing, I would be more than happy to do that again. But the reason why I haven't done anything is because you seem to be behaving. You haven't asked for anything, you don't look like you're doing anything wrong, which is why I'm not doing anything about it right now. Maybe you have learned your lesson and you're doing things on the up and up, which is all that anybody's ever hoped. I hear Washington is very loose in terms of people living in tents, and it's pretty easy there to qualify for funding and all the other things when you are homeless. So I think you and Heidi seem to be in a very good state to be taken care of. I find it interesting now that he's using his real name, Thomas Shields, after we blew the whistle on his real name a little over a year ago, and we were able to, find out all the information about him. And, it's funny, too. This ties in kind of real well with how I started out today, with Monster continuing to push false information about me. It's funny how I was the one who put the information out about him that he is a registered offender because of what he did to 2 young girls under the age of 13. And that information had never been put out until I put it out. And then I did the research, and other people did a lot of research and found that indeed he is non-compliant with updating his address on the registry. And in fact, there is a warrant out for him in North Carolina. Weird. But I support those kind of people, according to Monster and everybody else. But, they could suck a big one for all I care. So, yeah. So, Thomas, I'm glad to see, you've settled in a state that will take care of you. You're looking a little rough there, though, dude. You've aged quite a bit. He posted a video where he obviously took a picture of somebody's really nice camper and tried to make it out like it's his. We all know those were lies last year where he said he got a bunch of brand new campers. No, he had his hoopty piece of crap still. And make this make sense. I mean, this is how you know he's a little off. If that's his camper, why is he living in a tent with dirty blankets all over the place? Come on, folks. But if and when he decides to start coming live and asking for money because he needs X, Y, and Z for his rescue organization, which does not exist, then yeah, it'll be on. It will be on. It's time to put my shit kickers on and get the posse of women back together so we can embarrass him again for all of his lies. So, any questions, comments? Does anybody have anything to say? Because I'm fixing to get off of here in a few minutes. Hey, Jackie. I hope he is too. I'm sure he is. Oh, Jackie. Oh, Snark is live? Yay. Everybody, listen, I know at the beginning here was a bumpy ride. Thank you for mods for taking care of the riffraff that was coming in. I want to catch up on what that was all about. Monster, don't. Just don't. Just stop. Just stop, One thing that I think that we all can learn from what has been happening here on TikTok. And I'm referring to what Florida Man is dealing with right now. And for those of you that don't know, he did have his first appearance in front of a judge. I posted the paperwork. He is denied bail and or bond right now. There's a possibility he could. He might be able to do that, but there's some things that have to fall into place first in order for that to happen. But you do stupid shit in your life. You make bad decisions. You break the law, and it will come back to bite you in the ass. And Michael Kinney is a good example of that right now. It would be, yes, Peteness. So, the best thing to do on TikTok is to try to stay between the white line and the double line. Don't make shit up about people. Don't put out a false narrative about people. If you're going to be doing that, there are reactions that will happen. And in this case today with Monster, she wants to keep pushing shit then that is false. I will put out stuff that is the truth. Because when you put the truth out, you legally can't get in trouble for that. What are they going to say? Oh, she told the truth about me? Oh, okay. So, TikTok has been, for the most part, very peaceful since Florida Man's been off. Gee, imagine that. And it can be a very peaceful place. And let's keep it that way. Let's keep it that way. Mods, thank you very much for taking care of things. Everybody that came in today, thank you very much. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for spending your lunchtime here with me. Be safe, be good. Find your happy place, folks, this weekend. Find your Shambhala. Have a good one. Bye-bye.